So on all fronts, all the time, it seems.
The Russians have their own interests, and they, like I said before, they're schizophrenic. They have two different views of the world. They really are, in all senses, a two-headed eagle. Like their flag has that two-headed eagle looking east and west, and there is an there is internal divisions in the Kremlin. And if you ever visit Russia and you go to the offices of the the officials, you either see a picture of Vladimir Putin, the prime minister, or you see a picture of the president, and you can tell which side they're on just from seeing which picture they put in the room. But uh, don't discount the Russians, okay? I don't mean discount them as in whose side. I just mean on where they stand. I'll tell you, bad things are done by all countries. That's their nature. You know, the Americans do it, the Russians do it, Canadians do it, the Chinese do it, the Iranians do it. You know, the states abuse power. This is true. This is the truth. And states essentially nowadays act as kleptocratic structures. You know, they represent the wealthy and the upright, you know, the well-to-do in society.
Well, it's almost a
Benefiting from.
fraud to say they're states. I mean, they're owned by corporations that hold their debt, you know, in reality. I mean, it's hard to know who's really pulling the strings.
Yeah, yeah, you are right. There's corporations have a lot of influences in the state, and they do pull the strings. But behind the corporation, there's people too. It does come down to people. I know there's times that corporations can act like beings to themselves, or you know, living organisms to themselves, and the rights that corporations have in essence, are the same right as individuals, and a lot of even more than individuals.
Yes.
You know, and that's a scary thing, you know. But these are all constructs of human beings. You know, these are all conceptual constructs that have become reality. We're redefining our reality through the social sphere. You know, of giving states these rights and corporations these rights. And since we're the ones who define our reality, I'm sure we can make remedies. And if there is a change in thought, we can change in thought. We can really reverse these tides. You know.
I hope so. It's just an abundance of food, and I feel that the ability to use the fertilizer and the GM foods and create an abundance of food means that we're all fed, and therefore there's no real angst or prospect of rebellion. In other words, we can just be bought off with some cheap food. It's maybe not a very sound argument. I'm glad to have amused you, but I do
Well,
think
let's.
these
I need you to explain that to me a little more.
well,
I
I
need.
need to work it out, but you know, if the big corporations are financing mad, insane wars,
Yes.
they're in the back of their minds is, well, we can feed our own people. That'll shut them up, you know? Give them some garbage on TV and food. No, I mean, none of this would have come about if we wouldn't have had this ease with which to produce food at such an abundant rate, which is only the last 50 years since we
Okay.
discovered fertilizers from gunpowder.
But there is an abundance of food in the world, but it's not getting around to everybody.
No.
Everybody gets to eat. People are deliberately left hungry. You have to know that. Like this country here, Canada and the United States, dump millions of tons of wheat into the ocean every year. You know that just to keep prices up. And there's people suffering famine. If there's an abundance of food, which there is, I totally agree. It's not getting around. The food's not getting around to everybody. People are deliberately being left hungry and to die of famine. They want famine in Africa. There's no question about that. So they can have an opening and go into those countries.
Well, we are being kept with the bare minimum of food here in the West. I mean, if we would only revolt, then it would put an end to all these wars. But no one's going out into the streets en masse to protest.
The way they keep us here is they make us all busy, always thinking about ourselves. You know, I have to make money, I have to provide for my family, I have to pay the mortgage, I'm in debt, I have to pay the loans back. So when you're constantly working like a machine, you don't have time to think about these things.
Too true.
Go home after your work hours. You want to relax with what little time you have. So time is being stolen. And when it does come down to it, we all have a certain limited amount of time in this world. And a lot of our time is deliberately being stolen. And everything. You go to university, school has been extended. The period of school has been extended. Before you get a job, you need a certain experience. So you have to go to those crappy entrance jobs or whatever. They're taking time away from us. When they take time away from you, you don't have time to think. Like the whole lifespan is now about time. If you look at Athens, let me elaborate on that. The golden age in Greece, Athens, when they had the best art, best philosophy, the best, when the academy was established in the Athenian city-state, it was when they had a lot of leisure time. Like, you had a lot of time. When you have a lot of time, you think about things. You know, we're human beings. Like, our lives mean more than just food and watching TV. You know, there's some things that we need. We need, like, to think about what life's about. We need time to ourselves. You really need to process and think like a philosopher about the world, I guess. But they steal time, and it's deliberate.
I'm trying very hard to add to this what
Yes.
you're saying. Usury, the whole issue of usury and interest rates. One of the arguments is it puts a price on time. And really, that filters down throughout our whole social fabric. In other words, you're in debt. The more time that passes, the more you owe, because the interest rates are always going up. So there's a whole philosophical side to the effect of usury, which, of course, is one of the fundamentals that we are waging wars for, and disliking Islam because it forbids usury, as did the Catholic Church in the past. But it's a very interesting concept that it's putting a price on time. Time is money because of usury.
Essentially, every major faith is against usury. Like it goes far beyond the Catholics. This is something that is mentioned in the Bible. It's for all Christians. It's mentioned in the Torah, which is the Old Testament of the Bible. If this Judaism forbids it. There's
only in certain times.
No, but the thing is, there's an interpretation between about Gentiles being the exception. Okay, but
you can lend to a Gentile for business purposes.
Yes, but this. I don't believe that this is authentic Judaism. Hinduism also is in the same boat. You know, usury is not a good thing, and I want to step aside from religion and theology, but I want to say that if you look at Africa, they've all paid their debts 100 times over. Your argument, there's the answer to your argument. Like they paid their debts 100 times over. All those African states, all those so-called developing or underdeveloped states have paid.
I'm not aware of the details, but I heard the IMF has had to give Libya a loan or something. Have you heard about that already, the TNC?
I'm very, look, I've returned from a long trip, and it's going to take some time for me to get back into the fix of things.
Well, I think your new career might be a TV commentator, if that's the correct title.
I don't want to be a TV commentator. I'd rather be at a desk in the university, quiet place, you know. But I do want to help. I believe in praxis. I believe you got to use what you know to make a better world.
You're doing a great job, Mahdi. I don't know how to sign off, but I've reached my energy state limit.
Yeah, I got you. You're one interesting guy.
Thanks a million.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. I'll put this up in a while, okay? All right, bye-bye.